Political director Rick Klein has also had his work cut out for him, along with White House correspondent MaryAlice Parks. They both join me now for more. Rick, we keep hearing that this is a symptom, this is a symptom, this is a symptom. So what is behind this division in the Republican Party?
I think, in a word, it's Trumpism. Even though Donald Trump is behind Kevin McCarthy, the spirit of Trump is behind the folks that are opposing McCarthy. And the spirit of actually not necessarily really wanting leadership at all is dominating all of this. This is the dog that caught the car. And Republicans have to grapple with a lot of the forces inside their own ranks, things that have been growing over the course of the last decade. Kevin McCarthy knew exactly what kind of majority he was building. That famous trip to Mar-a-Lago, I think, was a point in that direction just a few weeks after the inauguration. But bottom line is, even that wasn't enough and can't be enough. And the words of support from Trump, I don't think, are going to change the math substantially for Kevin McCarthy. He's got a group of people that in Washington right now, not all of whom actually want to do the work of governing and of leading.
So, MaryAlice, what does this all mean for the new House Speaker, whoever that ends up being, when they then try to execute power as they work with the Democratic White House and the Democratic Senate, for that matter?
Yeah, Diane, it's such a good point, because they haven't even tried to do the hard stuff yet. The act of governing, passing bills, passing important pieces of legislation. They haven't even begun that process yet. And I think a lot of the people that are supporting Kevin McCarthy, a lot of the Republicans, are very worried that if they kowtow right now, if they backtrack, if they switch gears, they've basically given in to a group that could roadblock them any time over the next 2 years. That could be a thorn in their side at every single step. I think that's part of why we're seeing this game of chicken right now, is that Kevin McCarthy really wants to show that Republicans will be able to stick together at some point, even if they can't right now. But part of what is so tricky for Kevin McCarthy is that you don't see a big policy division emerging. It's not like those 19 or 20 who have opposed him are pointing to a specific piece of legislation they want to pass. They're really talking about him as a person, and that makes this very hard.
Rick, we have heard some candidates say, some Congress members or Congress members-elect say, I will keep voting for Kevin McCarthy for as long as this possibly takes. Others, as Rachel just said, have already switched their support. And we heard, Congressman Matt Gaetz, who's against him, famously say that we could see cherry blossoms before we pick the next Speaker of the House. Everyone seems pretty dug in on this. So how do you see this playing out?
The one change that we've seen from Kevin McCarthy in his comments to reporters last night is he moved the goalposts a little bit closer to him. He said the number isn't necessarily 218, it's 213. Now, what's that? That's one more than Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader, has been getting in these votes. The only way that works, though, is if he can convince his own members, his Republican members, to either not show up or to start voting present, to sit it out in terms of a vote. That lowers the threshold you need. So it might be that is the only strategy that's left for him, because he's not going to get them to his side necessarily. Short of that, you're going to see another candidate emerge. I think it's likely someone that hasn't gotten any votes so far. It's not Jim Jordan. Maybe more likely to be Steve Scalise or Elise Stefanik or Congressman Patrick McHenry is kind of a dark horse in there. Someone else will have to emerge with McCarthy's blessing, because McCarthy has shown through 3 votes he has not been able to grow at all. In fact, he lost a vote that he had kept in his corner for the first 2 votes. This next vote, this first vote that happens this afternoon, if it happens as scheduled, will be a critical one. McCarthy's got to show some progress in one of those 2 strategies, either convincing people to his side or convincing people to sit it out.
So, MaryAlice, how are Democrats reacting to this?
So far, with popcorn and big smiles. I mean, they are loving this. They think that Republicans are proving their point, that Republicans haven't been interested in governing, but are interested in the food fight and politics and finger pointing. I think if this goes on and on and on, like if we're in some situation where this has been a week or 2 weeks, we're going to start to see a lot more pressure on Democrats to try to work with them to come up with a solution. And then we're in territory where we're really talking about whether there's a coalition government, sort of centrist, someone who can pull votes from both sides. But we're nowhere near that right now. Right now, Democrats are sticking together, and they are telling Republicans this is their mess to figure out.
All right, MaryAlice Parks, Rick Klein, thank you both. And we will have full coverage for the next round of voting when Congress reconvenes, starting at noon Eastern, right here on ABC News Live.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.